Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. Today, I'm going to introduce you to this basic and simple Buddhist practice. And this practice is known as sila. Now, the word sila is a Pali word that we can translate it to English as ethical conduct or virtue. Now, in Buddhism, the Buddha's teachings are always directed to the liberation of mind. Or it is the ultimate goal of Buddhism, the liberation of mind from all the sufferings. To achieve this state, Buddha taught us that you should practice three practices. First one is sila, which we are going to discuss today. It is called the ethical conduct. Second one is samadhi. Samadhi means concentration. And the third one is panya, or it is known as wisdom in Buddhism. So sila plays a crucial role in Buddhism and Buddhist practice. So what do you mean by ethical conduct? Ethical conduct helps you to be disciplined from your body and from your words. Okay? So once you become disciplined from your body and from your words, then normally your mind will be disciplined. So these are coexisting. Okay? That means these practices help each other. Okay? Once you become disciplined with your mind, you can be disciplined from your body and from your words. Or if you become disciplined from your body and words, normally, automatically it happens that your mind will be disciplined. So that is why the Buddha introduced us these ethical conducts or practice of virtues in Buddhism. Now, basically, Buddha taught us that we need to practice 5 precepts. Okay, these are 5 guidelines that Buddha taught us to practice in daily life. Now, for someone, you may feel like they are a set of rules, but in reality, Buddha never imposed rules on anyone. Okay, these are guidelines, and these are the things that Buddha teaches us to practice because Buddha saw that there are disadvantages if you break these guidelines. For an example, the first practice of sila is to abstain from killing beings. Okay, so when you kill animals, there are so many disadvantages that comes to your life, and also you acquire a bad karma because your actions and your intentions are unwholesome. Once you kill animals, kill living beings, your intentions are unwholesome. So through unwholesome intentions and actions, what will happen? You will gain bad karma. And that bad karma will lead to suffering in one's life. And that is why Buddha said, there are disadvantages and there are bad consequences when you do these things. Okay? When you kill animals, when you steal, there are disadvantages that comes to your life. So as beings who likes to be happy in your life, okay, in your personal life, if you like happiness, then stay away from these bad deeds or unwholesome deeds. So abstaining from these unwholesome deeds is known as precepts in Buddhism, or sila, or virtue in Buddhism. Okay, so there are mainly 5 precepts that we all need to practice. The first one is abstaining from killing beings. Staying away from harming anyone's life. Okay, first one. The second practice is abstaining from stealing. Abstaining from taking anyone's possessions without permission. Okay, without asking. That is an unwholesome deed, and that has many bad consequences. Okay, people have to suffer if they do that. Second one is, Buddha said, abstain or stay away from sexual misconduct. Okay, because when you engage in sexual misconduct, that leads to many bad consequences in your relationships. Okay, so Buddha said, stay away from sexual misconduct. Third one is abstain from or stay away from lying. Okay, when you lie, you break the trust of people. Once you break the trust, there are many problems in your life. Okay, there will be many problems in your life. So Buddha said that stay away from lying. And as the final precept, Buddha said that stay away from intoxicating yourself. Stay away from using drugs and other intoxicants. Okay, because that leads to a lot of sufferings in your life. So these are the main and basic Buddhist practice, or sila, or precepts, that all the Buddhists practice in all around the world. Okay, so basically these precepts or these virtues helps you to develop a better life and a happy life without regrets. Once monk Ananda asked from the Buddha, what is the purpose of practicing ethical conduct? Then the Buddha said, you should practice ethical conduct to stay away from regret and remorse in your life. Now, if you look at these things, if you look at these 5 precepts, killing, abstaining from stealing, abstaining from sexual misconduct, abstaining from telling lies, abstaining from using intoxicants, if you do these things, what will happen? At the end of this deed, there will be nothing but the regret. Okay, you end up regretting yourself, like, why did I do that? Okay, so Buddha said that that is one of the major harms to your life, to your spiritual life, for someone who is engaged and for someone who is seeking the peacefulness in your life. So Buddha said, practice a virtuous life and a clean and a pure life to be happy inside. Once you know that you are happy and you are clean and pure in your mind, in your character, then it will give you a big happiness to your life. So that is why we need to practice these virtues. Okay, that is the purpose of sila. So understand this simple Buddhist practice and try to practice these precepts in your life. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome back to another video. From today's video, we're going to discuss about the approach of non-violence in Buddhism. Now, how Buddha approaches the non-violence is in a most skillful way. Now, we all know that almost all the religions speaks about non-violence. And how Buddha approaches the non-violence is in a more different way. The Buddha says that to see from the perspective of the other person. Put yourself to the perspective of the other person and think that if I were to go through such an experience, if I were to go through such an experience in my life, how would I feel? By thinking about this, you should let go of the anger, let go of the rudeness, let go of the violence. That is the Buddha's explanation of practicing the non-violence. The Buddha says, Attanang upamang katva nahaneyana ghate. First of all, put yourself into the perspective of the other person and think, if I were to say like this, if I went through this kind of experience, if I'm going to be rude to someone, if I'm going to be violent to someone, but if I became the victim, how would I feel? And when you think about that, when you think about from that perspective, you know that you don't like this violence. You don't like someone become violent to you or rude to you or mean to you. And when you understand this, the Buddha says that by understanding that that is the pain that every other person will go through in their life, if I do the same thing to them, then I don't want to do that. That is how we let go of the anger. The Buddha says that anger doesn't resolve anything. There is not a single problem that is solved through anger. People all over the world try to solve problem through revenge. Look at the world. Look at the wars that are currently going on in this world. What happens? We're trying to take revenge on each one of us, on each other. And finally, no one solves the problem, but only the innocent lives will be destroyed. There's a beautiful saying that I read in the book of Art of War. It says that the destroyed buildings can be built up again, right? The friends who became enemies will become friends again. And the destroyed cities can build up again. But you cannot bring back a dead person back to life. So understand that war is not good for any kind of nation, any kind of country, any kind of people. So that we have to understand that violence doesn't solve anything in this world. It creates only the loops of anger. Now, by loops of anger, what I mean is that, let's say one party, let's say one country is attacking another country. Okay, you see this in Iran and Israel, right? You see this in Ukraine and Russia in this world. Let's say one country is attacking another country, right? Let's say you see this in almost all the wars, right? One country is attacking another country. What happens? They come and kill these people, okay? And there are people who are very close to them. And the people who got killed, there are people, the other people who are very close to them. What happens to them? They become angry. They build up the hate inside them. They swear to take revenge on the other party. So what do they do? They go and kill the other people. And then what happens? There are close relatives and close people to them as well. And they swear to take revenge again. And they come back and they kill again. So this will never end. So that is why anger creates nothing but the destruction, the destroying of this world, right? But only through letting go, only through forgiving that we can solve a problem, okay? That is why we have to be brave enough to let go and forgive, even though it is difficult. I know to say to let go is easy. I know that to say that forgive is easy. But to do, it is difficult. It is hard. It is hard for me. It is hard for you. It is hard for everyone. That is the truth. But even though it is difficult, it is hard, it is painful, we have to do that if we need to stop the problem continuing, right? That is why the Buddha said that put yourself in the perspective of the other person and think that if I were to go through such a situation, how would I feel? How much pain that I will go through? How much I will suffer? And then the Buddha says, let go of that anger. Let go of the hatred. On the day you let go of the hatred, on the day that you let go of that anger, it will never create a loop of anger, which will destroy the future generations. You're the one, if you take the choice to stop it, you are the one is not letting your future generations to be destroyed. So even though I know forgiving, letting go is not easy, even though it is difficult, it is hard, it is painful, we have to do it. And that is how we stop the anger. And that is the approach in Buddhism about the non-violence. So keep this little reminder in your mind and be happy. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome and welcome back to another video. From today's video, we are going to answer one of the most frequently asked questions in Buddhism. Can we change our karma? Or can we change our past karma? Can we do anything about it? Now, to understand about this, first we need to understand what karma is. Now, in almost all the Indian religions, there are a lot of teachings about karma. Karma is a bigger teaching in almost all the Indian religions. In Hinduism, in Jainism, in Buddhism, there are a lot of teachings about karma. But the Buddhist approach of karma, or the Buddhist way of definition of karma, is slightly different than the other Indian religions, right? So this is how Buddha defined the karma. The Buddha says, Chetanahang bhikkhave kammang vadami. Monks, I say, intention is the karma. So when it comes to these statements from the Buddha means is that karma, the action, is more of a mind-related thing. That is why the Buddha says intention is karma. So intentions are generated in our mind. So what Buddha saw is that it is not just the action, it is the intention behind the action what defines the karma. So this is the Buddhist definition of karma. Now we'll come to the question. What is it? Can we change the karma? Right? Now, first of all, we need to correct the question and then answer it. Why? Because karma, what people mean by asking, can we change karma, is that can I change what I have done in the past, and can I change the consequences of those karma? Okay, so first we need to understand that karma, or this intention, is generated right now, right here. Right? The karma is not something that is past. Karma is something that you do right now, this present moment. Right? So this present moment, the karma can be changed. Why? Because it is always your choice. The choice is a karma. Your choice is totally under your control. Some people think that, okay, our choices and our experiences are not totally under our control. The choices that we make are predetermined, or due to the past karma, we make choices right now. But Buddha did not agree to this idea. What Buddha says is, yes, your life is affected by the past karma, but it is not the only thing that your life is affected. But you can change your karma by making good choices, by taking the right action. That is why Buddha praised a lot about the taking right action. So understand that karma happens right now, and that means the karma is totally under your control. But what people ask is that, can I change the karma? No. First you need to correct the question, can we change the consequences of our karma? Which means vipaka. Now, with the package of karma, there comes another word which is not much famous, and that is vipaka. Vipaka means the consequences of karma. So basically what karma is, the cause and effect phenomena. That means we make causes for something and there will be an effect because of that cause. We do some actions and then we get consequences of those actions. So this is the basic understanding of karma. So can we change vipaka? It is not totally under our control. We don't know what we have done in the past. So the only thing that we can do is just to go through those experiences. Now, it is also important to remember that our life is not totally dependent on karma. Karma is only one thing that our life is affected. Okay? So let's say you're going through a consequence of your past karma. So can you do anything about that? You can't do it, because only thing that you can do is you have to face that experience. But you can change how you react to that experience, right? Whether it is good or bad, you can take right action, right choice, right now, right here, to face that in a good way. So if we take the right action and right choice right here, then we can stop the karma repeating again and again, right? Let's say you're going through a bad experience due to a past karma, and if you react the same way, right? If you fall down, if you become angry, if you spread hate because of that pain and suffering, then you create some more suffering karma to go through some bad experiences in the future. But if you take right action and if you become wise and patient and mindful, then you can stop the karma from repeating. So in that way, you take control of your choices. So understand, basically, there is very few space for us to take control of what we have done in the past and the consequences of them, but we totally have the control that we make the choice right now, right here. So keep this beautiful advice from the Buddha in your heart and be happy. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another video. From today's video, let's discuss about the problem of feeling worthless, right? Sometimes no matter how good we are, sometimes how good other people to us are, we feel worthless about ourselves, right? We feel that we don't have any value, right? My life there is no value in my life. Why am I living? Have you ever felt like this? Now, this has been a big problem for me before becoming a monk, right? Before becoming a monk, we have to undergo a training period of like 1.5 years, right? I will tell you about my story. So I was staying in this monastery, and I had to learn how to become a monk, and we were practicing and everything. But since even though everything is good, everything around me is good, right? Everyone around me is good. And also, even though I am doing good, that still I feel like, why am I living in this life, right? My life, there is no value in my life. Everything that I do, I fail. Sometimes I fail in my life. But when you fail like that, you think like, oh, I'm a failure, right? I don't have any value in my life. And that is not the reality, right? That when it comes to reality, that is not true. But still, mind is very good at distorting the reality and creating these scenarios in our mind to say to our life that you're worthless, right? You have no value. There is no value in your life, right? You're not good enough. So how can we deal with this? So I will tell you how I got the help from the spiritual companions and the monks and my teacher. So one time I was so upset of the things that I'm doing, and also everything that I have been doing went wrong, right? It wasn't successful. I was meditating, I was helping the monk, but sometimes I made mistakes, and I was worrying about these mistakes. No one complained about me. No one said nothing bad about me, but still my heart says to me that you're not good enough. You're a failure, right? So I was so upset. And now when you're in upset mindset, what is the first thing that comes out of you? It's your facial expressions, right? Someone can say your face is a reflection of your mind state. Okay, so I was upset, and one of the monks who was residing in that monastery noticed me that I'm upset. So he came up to me and said, like, tell me, what's bothering you? Is there anything that is bothering in your mind? You can say it to me. Let's discuss. So the first reaction, as usual, when someone asks from us, how are you? Or is there any problem in you? What we say? We say that, okay, I'm fine, right? There's no problem. But he understood my mental state and told me, tell me the truth. I'm here to help you. We can discuss so that we can sort out the problem. So I told this condition of my mind, mental state of my mind, that I am feeling worthless. I'm feeling that I'm a failure. And then he said, okay, you're feeling worthless. Let's say you're feeling worthless and you're feeling that you don't have any value in your life. But now I need you to check the reality. What are you doing right now? You're meditating, you're helping the monks, and you're doing all the chores, and you're still feeling worthless? Is that the reality? One thing that he said is, check the reality, right? Check what is real. Because mind is pretty good at creating all the worst case scenarios and all the pessimistic thoughts in our mind. Because it's a thought pattern, right? One thing that our mind has is it has the habit of creating the thought patterns, right? Once we start to feed our mind with a certain thought patterns, it has this looping effect of creating this thought pattern again and again and again. The more we think it, the more it comes back to our mind. So he said that check the reality and understand that your life is not worthless, right? Your life, there are many things that you can be happy about, right? That's the reality. As humans, there is nothing that we can feel like my life is worthless, right? Because there are so many things that we can be happy about. Like being a human itself is something that we can be happy about, right? We got the chance to be a human and practice these good qualities, live as a good human itself is something that we can be happy about. And be happy about that you have air to breathe, right? You have people around you that smiles at you. At least find something that you can be happy about, because there are so many things. There are thousands and thousands of things in reality that we can be happy about. Okay, that is one thing that you have to do. Check the reality. Is it true that my mind saying that your life is worthless? But when you come to reality, you find that there are a lot of things that you can be happy about in our life. Okay, and there's another thing that you can do, and that is keep a gratitude journal, right? Write few things that you have to be like, you can be happy about in your life, right? You can be happy about so many things if you think about it. So find something and write about it. And also another thing that you have to do whenever you get these kind of thought patterns is to try to give more, right? Try to help more to other people, right? Whenever you do that, you feel the value of the things that you do, right? The positive energy that you create towards other people, right? And whenever you give, whenever you help others, you see the smile of their faces. You see that people are thanking you, and you think that, oh, this is what the true value of my life, right? My life is not worthless. My life is valuable, that I can create many positive things around me in my life, so that it's not true that my mind's saying that I'm worthless, right? When you realize that, you come to this state and come to that understanding that how valuable this human life is, right? How many positive things that you can do in this life, right? When you do that, that state of mind will go away. So things that we have to do is check the reality and understand, ask from yourself that, is that true, that truly that my life is worthless or not, right? And also be generous, help other people, and be happy and understand that your life is truly valuable. So keep this little advice in your mind and be happy. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome and welcome back to another video. Couple of weeks ago, we posted this video right here about self-love. Let's take a look at it first. Remember, the more you love yourself, the more selfless you become. Do not confuse self-love with selfishness. Namo Buddhaya. So, a lot of you have been asking in the comment section, what is the difference between self-love and selfishness? So from today's video, we're going to be discussing about how to differentiate the self-love from selfishness. Now, to understand about this, first we need to understand what is selfishness. Now, selfishness always born from the unsatisfied nature of our mind. That means we are not satisfied with ourselves, and we are not satisfied with other people. So what happens? We try to fill this unsatisfaction, fill this gap in our mind to satisfy ourselves. So what we do? We make expectations towards ourselves and towards others. And when the people around us and even ourselves are not meeting these expectations of even ourselves, what happens to us? We try to pursue and we try to chase behind these expectations and filling these expectations even more and more. And these things, these chasings go beyond the limits. So what happens? A person becomes more selfish, only thinking about his own happiness, his own pleasure, and his own advantage. He doesn't start to think about the other people's happiness. So this is selfishness. So we need to understand that selfishness is always born from unsatisfied nature of our mind. But in the other hand, self-love is always born from compassion, understanding, and acceptance. Now, when you understand who you are and when you accept who you are, then you become more compassionate towards yourself. Then you know who you are and what you can do. Starting from that, you start to develop yourself more and more. You give a good time to heal, you give a good time to develop your inner qualities, and you become more patient toward yourself. And also, when you develop the patience, you become more patient towards other people. You all know that not every person around you can live up to 100% expectations of yourself. So we need to understand that. When you understand this, the nature of yourself and the nature of other people, then you become more compassionate. And then you become more selfless. You become more generous because you know how it feels like to go through sufferings. You also know how it feels like to go through painful periods in time. So when you do that, when you develop that patience and compassion, you become more self-loving person. Okay, so that is why we need to understand that self-love is always born from compassion, understanding, and acceptance. We don't deny who we are. We don't try to reject who we are. We become more understanding and more accepting towards ourselves. When we become more accepting towards ourselves, we become more content with who we are and become happy with who we are. And one of the greatest qualities that we develop through this is the gratitude. We become thankful for what we have in our life. We don't say that, oh, everyone needs to fulfill my expectations and I'm not going to commit anything for you. You need to fulfill all of my expectations. Those emotions won't happen when you become more self-loving person. So understand the difference between the self-love and selfishness. The Buddha said, if you love yourself, you have to guard your mind from evil things, evil thoughts like jealousy, hatred, aversion, and envy. When you guard your mind from these unwholesome thoughts, you protect yourself. And that is self-love. When you protect yourself, you protect others as well. So keep this little beautiful advice from the Buddha in your mind and be happy. Namo Buddhaya.